The night after Anita left, Emmanuel lay awake in his bed. His mother's words echoed in his mind. No woman will ever love you the way I do. And it felt wrong. But it also made him feel special. He had always believed his mother's love was pure. She had raised him alone, suffered for him, sacrificed everything for him. But now there was something off about it. The next morning, Cecilia prepared Emmanuel's favorite meal, grilled fish with spicy yam porridge. As he ate, she sat beside him, watching closely. "My son," she said softly, "you seemed troubled last night. Are you thinking about that girl?" Emmanuel swallowed hard. "Mother, Anita loves me. I think I love her too." Cecilia's smile faded. She reached for his hand. "Love. Do you even know what love is?" Emmanuel frowned. "Mother. She moved closer, her grip tightening. "A woman's love is selfish. They will use you and abandon you. But a mother's love is forever." And her voice was soft yet firm, and Emmanuel felt a strange guilt creeping into his heart. That evening, Cecilia did something she had never done before. She dressed beautifully. She wore a short fitted gown that hugged her curves, revealing the body of a woman who had once been the most beautiful in the village. Strands of her long, dark hair fall over her shoulder. Emmanuel noticed. His mother looked different. She sat beside him and placed her hand on his thigh. "My son," she whispered. "Tell me, what does Anita give you that I cannot?" Emmanuel stopped breathing. "Mother, what are you saying?" Cecilia smiled, stroking his arm slowly. "You are my only joy, Emmanuel, the only man who has never hurt me, the only man who has never left me." Emmanuel tensed up. Something was very wrong. That night, Emmanuel could not sleep. His body felt hot. His mind was restless. He thought of Anita, her soft smile, her gentle touch. Then he thought of his mother. Her words, her closeness, the way she touched his thigh. Why was she behaving this way? He buried his face in his hands, breathing heavily. He needed to leave. He needed to see Anita. Before sunrise, Emmanuel packed a small bag. He had made up his mind. He would leave the village, find Anita, and start a new life with her. But as he stepped outside, he froze. Cecilia was standing in the dark, waiting. Her eyes, filled with both pain and anger, glowed under the moonlight. "My son," she said, her voice cold. "Where are you going?" Emmanuel's heart pounded. "Mother, I need to find Anita, I need to." Cecilia gave him a serious slap so hard that he staggered. "Ah, you ungrateful child!" she hissed. "After everything I've done for you, you want to leave me for that useless girl." Tears welled in Emmanuel's eyes. "Mother, I love her." Cecilia laughed bitterly. Then she said something that shocked him. "If you leave me, I will kill myself." Emmanuel's legs weakened. He stared at his mother in shock.
"Mother, don't say that."
She stepped closer, placing a trembling hand on his cheek. "I cannot live without you.
My, she whispered.
You are the only man who has ever made me happy. The only one who has ever given me pleasure." Emmanuel felt sick. His mother's love was not normal. It was obsession. It was dangerous. But he was trapped. If he left, she would die, and if he stayed, he would never be free. Tears rolled down his face. "Mother, what do you want from me?" Cecilia smiled. "Just stay with me," she whispered. "Forever. On ever." Days passed. Then weeks. Emmanuel stopped leaving the house. His mother never let him out of her sight. She cooked for him, fed him with her hands, and even insisted on sleeping in his room, saying she was afraid of being alone. At night, when he turned his back to sleep, she would hold him from behind, whispering, "You are my joy, my life, my everything." Emmanuel felt like he was losing himself any time she touched him. He wanted to scream, he wanted to run. But he was afraid. Afraid of what she might do. Afraid of what he might become. One morning, a familiar voice called his name. "Emmanuel!" His heart skipped. It was Anita! She had returned to the village and stood outside, smiling hopefully. He rushed towards her, his hands shaking. "Anita, you're back!" She smiled. But then her expression turned serious. "Emmanuel, why do you look so different?" Before he could answer, Cecilia appeared, her eyes fixed on Anita like a predator spotting its prey. "What are you doing here?" she asked harshly. Anita swallowed. "I came to see Emmanuel." As Cecilia stepped in front of her son, blocking him. "He does not need you. He has me." And Emmanuel saw fear flash in Anita's eyes. He opened his mouth to speak, but Cecilia's hand tightened around his wrist, nails digging into his skin. She was warning him. "Say one word, and I will make you regret it." Anita looked disappointed. Emmanuel, what's going on? He wanted to answer, wanted to beg her to save him, but fear won. He looked down and whispered, "Go." Tears filled Anita's eyes. "Go," Emmanuel repeated, this time louder. She hesitated, then slowly turned and walked away. Emmanuel watched her go, his chest aching, his soul screaming. His last chance at freedom had just walked away, and his mother had won. That night, Cecilia was happier than ever. She danced around the house, humming a tune as she prepared dinner. "Now we can finally be at peace," she said, setting the food before him. "No more distractions." Emmanuel stared at his plate. He had no appetite, no desire to live. His mind was crumbling. He thought of his father, a man he had never met, a man his mother never spoke about. Why had she never remarried? Why did she cling to him so tightly? Then a horrible thought came to his mind. What if he was never just a son to her? He felt upset, his hands shook. He had to escape, even if it meant dying. That night, Emmanuel waited until his mother fell asleep. Then he grabbed his bag, crept to the door, and it was locked. He was terrified. She had locked the doors, the windows, every way out. A whisper floated from the darkness behind him. "Where are you going, my love?" Emmanuel turned around. Cecilia was standing in the shadows, watching him. She had known. She had always known. Emmanuel's heart felt heavy. "I will never escape her." She stepped closer, reaching for him. "Come back to bed, my son." Tears filled his eyes. "She will never let me go." And in that moment, he realized there was only one way out. Emmanuel stopped trying to escape. He stopped resisting. Days blurred into nights. His mother, Cecilia, controlled everything. She chose what he ate, when he slept, and who he spoke to. And now she no longer hid her desires. At night she would whisper, "You belong to me, my son, forever." Emmanuel felt empty and lifeless. His mind was breaking. There was no way out. Until one night something snapped inside him. He realized he had two choices. Either he died in this house, or she did. Cecilia lay on the bed, smiling as she ran her fingers through Emmanuel's hair. She sighed. "You remind me so much of your father." Emmanuel froze. His father, the man he had never met. He had asked about him 1,000 times, but Cecilia never answered. But now, she was finally speaking. "What happened to him?" Emmanuel asked softly. Cecilia's smile faded. Then, in a quiet voice, she said, "I killed him." Emmanuel's heart stopped. His mother's voice was calm, as if she were telling a bedtime story. "He wanted to leave me. He said I was dangerous, that I was obsessed, but I couldn't let him go." She turned to Emmanuel and touching his face. "So, I did what I had to do. I made sure he would never leave me, just like you." Emmanuel got goosebumps. He was lying beside a murderer. And if he didn't act now, he would be next. Cecilia fell asleep, her arms wrapped around Emmanuel. Slowly, he reached for a small knife he had hidden under the bed. His hands were shaking. Could he really do this? Could he kill his own mother? He took a deep breath. Yes, because if he didn't, she would kill him first. With one swift motion, Emmanuel pressed the blade against her throat. But before he could move, her eyes snapped open. She smiled. "I knew you would try this." Emmanuel's heart pounded. She grabbed his wrist. He struggled, but she was strong. Too strong. Her voice dropped to a whisper. "If I can't have you." Then she quickly leaned forward and bit into his neck. Pain shot through Emmanuel's body. He screamed, fighting to push her away, but she held on tight. Blood dripped down his skin. She was laughing. She had finally lost her mind. Gathering all his strength, Emmanuel drove the knife into her stomach. She gasped. Her grip loosened. Emmanuel pushed her off him, watching as she collapsed onto the bed. She looked up at him, her eyes filled with something unexpected. Not anger, not hatred, but a love. "My baby," she whispered. Then with one final breath she was gone. Emmanuel sat in the silent house. For the first time in years he was free, but as he looked at his mother's lifeless body, he felt nothing. No joy, no relief. Just emptiness. Slowly, he stood up and walked to the mirror. He stared at his reflection, and for the first time he saw her in himself. A shiver ran down his spine. Had he really escaped her? Or had she left something inside him that would never go away?